All right, so we just pulled out the Carolina's finest, Bojangles. We got a big old cross right over here. Like, we get it. Bojangles is the Lord's chicken, but not like that.
But Murphy's is God's gas.
What's going on, everyone? We are officially in week 5 of the college football season. We just concluded up our Georgia State and Georgia Southern series. We're excited to be back on the road, and this is going to be our first game in the state of South Carolina.
Oddly enough, South Carolina being our home state, we have not gone to a game yet.
Nope.
So it's nice to stay in state for this one, but
Absolutely.
we are continuing our unplanned Sunbelt tour.
Hey, Sunbelt, Funbelt, baby.
Third game in a row, but you know, we like the Sunbelt. You know, it's
something about it, man.
It's a conference that's been on the rise, and you got some good teams in there now. So
speaking of top 25 teams, our week 5 matchup for this week is going to be the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers versus
Louisiana-Monroe Warhawks. We both can agree on one thing, though, that Coastal is the best team in the state right now.
16th in the nation. I mean,
good for them.
They had a great year last year, and they're hopefully to continue that momentum this year. They got a great head coach in Jamie Chadwell. It's a funny story about the former head coach at Coastal Carolina. I believe his name was David Bennett. And when we were in high school, we used to actually play against his team that he coached in high school. It was River Bluff Gators, and I remember specifically he had this viral trend going on.
This was back when he was at Coastal back in like 08.
Yeah, it was back in 08.
This guy made a meme about like 10 years.
If you're an OG college football fan, you know exactly what we're talking about. If you don't know, we're just going to pop in here real quick.
I told our players, you need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here looking in the mirror. Do I look good? Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
You can definitely tell that mentality has stuck, resonated with this team. That they're top of the Sun Belt for sure, and like we said again, top 25. They're almost top 15 team.
Yeah.
End of this week, they could be in the top 15. We will find out.
I'm actually just kind of curious to see how the atmosphere is, how the crowd turns out.
Their stadium's a little smaller than Paulson that we were at last year. Their biggest turnout was their primetime Friday night game against Kansas, which was about 17,600.
Yeah.
Georgia Southern's turnout last week for their conference game was about 17,500. So
yeah.
That's kind of like, where like Georgia Southern was a football school. Coastal, let's be honest, they're known for their party atmosphere.
They're not really well known to be a football school. They're, like you said, they're well known to be a party school. It's not college, it's Coastal.
Yeah, and even though they've been good the last couple of years, it still takes a lot for your fans and students to really buy into a program. So hopefully they're at it because it's a pretty unique program. They got everything from being in the outskirts of Myrtle Beach with Chanticleers. They got an interesting mascot, and then they got the teal turf. There's just so many weird things about this program, but we love them.
When you think Coastal Carolina football, you think about that teal field. I think it's going to be cool to see. This is one of maybe 10 college football programs that has a different colored field. So it's going to be a first-time experience for both of us to see that. The thing about it is you're either going to love it or you hate it. So can't wait to see it in real life.
Yeah, so this should be Coastal's first Sun Belt Conference game. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think Coastal wins by 4 possessions, honestly.
I believe this game is going to be a no-brainer.
Don't expect this game to be close. I'm going to predict the Chanticleers coming out victorious at 36-9.
For a 16th ranked team in the country, I expect nothing but a blowout. So I'm going to predict 45-17.
We are about 20 minutes away from Brooks Stadium now, so we'll see you guys there.
All right, well, we're just outside of the stadium, and nothing too much around here.
Again, not bad stadium traffic.
I didn't know we went back to Wake Forest, though. That's crazy. So we just followed this dude, went completely the wrong way. There's no way to get out of here. We're just gonna have to just let him know, hey, sorry.
Thank
you, Con Samaritan.
Follow us on YouTube.
You know, when you're in the state of South Carolina, it's going to be a little bit hotter, so I got to stay strapped.
This is our first night game, or first afternoon kickoff.
Not going to lie, kind of look like a mime right now. You know, down here in South Carolina, putting sunscreen on is like painting up for the game, you know?
I swear, it might only be like 80, but it feels like 95. You know. I'd rather have my whole body sunburned and have an unsunburned nose. Like, that's how bad I hate a nose sunburn.
Another one. Yeah! Bro, this is so cool.
Let's go, shit's clear! I need you to stay strong! On the count of 3, here we go! 1, 2, 3, go!
Yeah, so the stadium looks a lot better in person.
Actually, I think they retired.
Like on TV, it looks like kind of washed out and faded, but it looks a lot better in person. You gotta give it that.
You know, I could safely say it was a 50-50 on whether I was gonna like the field or not, but after being here in person, I mean, all of this is just absolutely phenomenal. The only drawback that I have is this conference logo right here. You could definitely tell they just planted a logo right around here, and honestly, it kind of throws it off a little bit, but aside from that, the teal really wasn't that strong. Mormons versus Mullets. Dude, that's dope.
No, that night, the night of though, we had the actual guy who originally created it.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's a take on Catholics versus convicts.
It's open.
Yeah. Hey, good stuff. Hey. Woo! Yes, sir.
Turn our attention to the field as we cheer on Chris in these.
Alright. Oh yeah, this is definitely the mullet section over here. And another mullet bites the dust. Number 58 with the mullet and the chain, baby. Mr. 45. Congratulations on being the next contestant of Where's My Mullet? 92. But you got some swag, my guy. You used to right behind number 90. Congratulations. The man, the myth, the legend, Gallagher, the trendsetter, the OG, Mr. Slim Shady with the mullet. dynamic duo. You know, it's not 100% a mullet, but we'll count it. I won't even give it half a point. I'll just give it a whole point for that. Hey, keep growing it out. Keep growing it out. Or they got green popcorn too. Yeah. I mean, at least I think it is. Look who has the last laugh now. Wake Forest still undefeated. You can safely say we got to see them before they were good. All right, well, you're the guru over here, so you calling touchdown on this? Calling touchdown. All right. Oh! Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. Hey, he called it. Hey, he called it. He called it. Yeah! Justin Tucker. Hey! No, honestly, surprised this side of the stadium actually stayed for the second half. Yeah, a lot of shade. Definitely everyone over in the student section left, and home section's still going strong, but definitely not as strong as this side.
Anyways, as for the winner.
All right, second half of the game. The sun is still beating us. Hasn't changed one bit. If not, probably got a little hotter. But like you said,
Where you gotta be after the kickoffs.
yeah, man. I mean, this side's pretty much a great place right here. Hey, it's good seeing you.
Best of luck. Have fun touring more.
You got
Hey, absolutely.
I respect that.
For sure, man. Yeah, it's gonna be sick.
So far for me, it's HB Stadium and
my first game in like 3 years. The last time I've been here, the stadium did not look like that.
Yeah.
Came in and watched the game.
exactly. I get why you're talking this like as an attraction. Like, how many people have you met as a true alumni?
Facts. Yeah.
I'm
Only
literally the
people.
only person
Yeah.
that I've known so far.
I was about to say.
Whoever's doing this shit right now, they're literally throwing like literally popcorn at me. Hey, I hope best of y'all. Best of luck on this.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Feels like a foreign substance right now being in the shade.
Yeah, this is like a whole new dimension of weather right now. So, from the get-go, we knew this game was going to be a blowout, but
Not
man,
that much though.
I can say we had a pretty good time at this stadium.
Yeah, it was like a party. It was like, I mean, it might sound obvious, but it was like Myrtle Beach in a football game. So many characters you could tell in the stand.
It didn't feel like just a regular college football game. It just felt like Conway's finest right there. You know,
like a Myrtle Beach attraction.
it's like a dance club inside of a football stadium, kinda. We'll see you at the review.
We're back. Another game down. Coastal Carolina was a pretty fun experience.
For sure.
It was so freaking hot. There was no shade in that stadium at all.
At least not on our side of the stadium.
There was not a cloud in the sky, it seemed.
That was definitely our welcome back to South Carolina football right there.
So Brooks Stadium, I feel like this stadium definitely has a ceiling. Not in terms of it being a dome, but
Like a metaphorical ceiling.
it can only go so high. It is small. It is a highway stadium, which is a new term that we're coining.
Yeah, so we had ditch stadiums.
We got ditch stadiums, parking lot stadiums.
We got campus stadiums.
your
highway
scenic
stadiums,
mountain stadiums too.
and now highway stadiums.
Yeah, because this thing is maybe like 40 yards from the highway on one end and then maybe 20 on the other end.
Yeah, that was a perfect opportunity for Rascal Flatts to sing halftime show, because life is a highway.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it, folks.
And it's also just a big old, it's a horseshoe-shaped stadium, it's horseshoe, and it's just all aluminum. The steps walking up, just aluminum handles, the railing, just everything. So that really takes away from it.
Yeah. So as far as the stadium goes, I think the total capacity was about it's about 21,000 people, and according to ESPN, about 18,000 showed up.
A little over 18,000. So
considering this was like a really small matchup against a team that they blew out, UL Monroe is definitely not a powerhouse or anything, but we were just genuinely surprised that that many people showed up to a small game. I mean,
an afternoon, very hot kickoff.
I mean, they are the 16th ranked team in the country. I mean, it's kind of expected that your fans show up if your team is that good and performing well. But
the Fieldhouse, the Mario and Josh Norman Fieldhouse, it looks like new, but it doesn't. There's nothing crazy to it architecturally.
I thought that was pretty cool, though. I believe Josh Norman donated like $2 million to the program, and Mario as well. I think it was cool, though. I like that it was named after them. I think they're setting the tone for their stadium, setting the tone for their culture and everything. So one thing I do like about the stadium is that they are not short of teal. There is just teal all around, whether it's the outside or the inside. Like when you walk inside of the stadium, there's just a bunch of teal outlines, just a bunch of teal stickers and billboards and everything. When you walk in to see the concessions, I mean, it's just everywhere. You can't really escape it, honestly.
Teal Nation.
Yeah, that scoreboard, it really wasn't like as loud as we thought it would. I mean, we've sat at a lot of stadiums where we were like really close to the scoreboard, and
it was louder than Georgia Southern. So
I think any scoreboard was definitely louder. I think Indiana State was louder than that.
I think we can get into grades now. I gave it a 76, which is just a normal C.
And my final grade is going to be a 75.
As far as the atmosphere goes, this was definitely a stronger category for it. It's not too surprising. I mean, almost top 15 team, 16th ranked team in the country, and you got Myrtle Beach locals.
Oh yeah.
So you're bound to have some noise and some good energy going off here. There was a high number of intoxicated people.
Oh, yeah,
like you could just tell that these people, they were here to have a good time. We talked about and discussed how it felt more like a Myrtle Beach attraction rather than a football game, just because everything is so interesting with this program as far as their colors, the Chanticleer mascot. Everyone has a freaking mullet here. Mullet Capital of the entire world. The mascot running out on their little scooter moped. There's just so many interesting things. Like, it's like they're putting on a show for you. I loved every minute of it.
I thought it was awesome. Everyone was just vibing around there. It was a great time.
Just hot.
Like, other than the blistering sun, people were still staying for a little bit.
They were tailgating really good. Was not. We were kind of driving up trying to see what the scene was looking like, and on the trolley over, passed by the fraternity tailgate lot, was packed to the brim.
Like, they didn't come up short when it came to tailgating.
Yeah, that was good. The student section was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't even look like they were jumping around, honestly, over there.
I was about to say, the side where we were sitting on was probably like the most live part of the stadium. But student section, they would get loud after every touchdown, but they
it took them a long time to fill it up. It took almost the first quarter. They were still trickling in there. Mm-hmm. They finally got packed, and then by the end of the second quarter, they had already started to leave. It's like, why even go to a game? Like, just keep tailgating if you're gonna go in for like 10 minutes and leave. But the rest of the fans, the locals, you could definitely tell were the majority here. They cheered. They had good chants. What was their one? Oh, go chants.
It was literally go chants.
You could say that's a common thing, but some of the games we've been to, like, that's a lot more than we've seen.
I mean, I guess you could say that's a chance chant.
All right, I gave them an 80 for atmosphere, which is a B-.
And you know what? I think overall this deserves like a higher grade. I think this deserves a B, so I'm gonna give this an 82.
So this is definitely the lowest category. There's nothing really scenic about this stadium.
You know, you may have this perception. You may have seen some videos, some hype videos of Coastal Carolina football, and you may think, man, this must be like on the coast of Myrtle Beach, or man, this must be like somewhere just in a nice area with oceans and palm trees, and that's completely wrong, my friend.
Like, the only thing that even gave them any consolation for an attempt at a scenic value were the palm trees they planted here and there, just to give it that coastal beachy vibe.
Yeah.
Which I guess I appreciated.
Yeah, because from our side, from what we could see the scoreboard right there, and right behind it was just the interstate, or it was just the highway, and you just see passing cars going through.
Yeah. Way off to the left, they did have a big pond with a fountain, but you could barely see that from the stadium.
Yeah. But, yeah, other than that, I mean, there's a baseball stadium right next to it, but you can't see it from the inside of the stadium. So, yeah, there's really just not much to look at. So
we gave it a double D 66.
Double D 66.
All right. Getting to the bottom end of things with history and tradition. They had some good stuff. This is a very new program. Just got started back in 03. Just some things that we saw during the game. Pretty cool entrance with the mascot.
I mean, it was cool. I mean, unlike Wake Forest, where it was just a real motorcycle, I mean, I think the Chanticleers kind of switched it up a little bit.
But, you know, they take a lot of pride in their colors.
Yeah.
The teal and bronze, Teal Nation, which we finally learned. Like, we thought the other color was gold the whole time, but it's actually bronze.
I like the entrance because it's like, it kind of shows that like they don't take themselves like too seriously. It's a party, baby.
Yeah, and then they got obviously Brooks Stadium. Brooks, don't know his first name, but he was a big business donor, right?
Oh yeah, he was a big donor.
So that's who the stadium's named after. It was on the press box.
Yeah, I think it was named after him and his children as well. So that was pretty cool.
Again, the Mario and Josh Norman Field House. Mm-hmm. They had a cool Josh Norman number 24 plaque on the one end zone, or in the corner of the one end zone.
Yeah.
And then they had their FCS playoff appearances, conference championship banners over at the student section end zone.
I mean, one cool thing about it is that it was built in 2003, but before that, the old Conway High School football field was built right on that same exact location. That's pretty much where they played for the longest time. They just decided like, hey, we're going to move to a different location, probably like a little bit closer to the school. And then Coastal Carolina dug its first shovel in 2003, and nothing's been the same since.
Or they had a veteran memorial chair that was pretty cool out front. It was basically an observed seat for all the POWs, MIAs, veterans of, I think it was of the area, but just like an observed seat to show that all the veterans still had a seat and were still in spirit at the games.
Other than that, like, it's just been, like I said, it's just a relatively new team. This is the newest team that we've reviewed so far. So far, it's been on a good pace. It's made quite a bit of history. I'd say in the past decade, it's definitely.
You know, they're like making traditions as they go, but they're good ones, and
it's just gonna keep climbing up from here.
It's just little things like the field is actually called the Surf Turf. It's just stuff like that. You know, they're building their legacy as they go, but that only gets them so far. I gave them a 78, which is a C+.
And I gave them a 75. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. The main reason that you probably watch this video is for this last category, which is field design. We do have a lot of things to say about this field. I know that's like the first impression that you see when you see this stadium. I think there's a big misconception with this field. I think the biggest misconception is that when you see it on TV, when you see it on camera or social media, it just has this weird like offsetting blue tint to it. And it just kind of like is not pleasing to the eye. When we got there and saw it in real life, it actually looked a lot better in person. It looked, and it just looked clean. It looked very clean. It had like more shades of green that we thought.
On certain coverages, like when it's on ESPN2 or U.
Yeah.
Normally, I mean, those cameras often don't have as great a quality as like the primetime ABC.
Yeah.
Like 8 o'clock kickoffs. I think that has a part to do with it, but the field looks kind of washed out, but in person it looks much more vibrant.
I think it's the lighting situation too. Like, considering we went to a broad daylight game, it may look different compared to like when it's a night game or whatever. It's a field that makes a statement for sure. I think another cool thing about it is the end zones. One thing that I personally like about end zones is if you color the end zones to like a respectable color that isn't just like it's not contrasting way too much or anything like that, and it fits well with their secondary or primary colors, I think it just adds a lot more character to it, and I really love the bronze. So I thought that was really cool.
like the numbers, the fonts, how they had a little accent shadowing to them. You know, it made them pop out more. The sidelines, there was more bronze trim at certain parts. Yeah, it looked a lot better. And as soon as we came out of the tunnel and saw, I think we were both immediately like, wow, like,
yeah.
nice. Like, this looks pretty nice, pretty cool.
One of the coolest parts about the stadium is what do they call the field?
Yeah, we did not know this at all. I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, they call it the surf turf.
Surf baby.
Which is awesome. Surf and turf, man, you know? Like, do we have any more we want to say with it?
What's up, guys? Just a quick little interruption, but I just wanted to take this time to acknowledge this perfectly missed opportunity that I didn't get to say earlier on in the video. But Nate called Georgia State the nacho fries of college football stadiums, and kind of sparked an inspiration in me. And every time I looked at Brooks Field, it kind of just reminded me of a specific drink. When I'm at Taco Bell, I always order a Mountain Dew Baja Blast, and it just kind of reminded me of the color of that field. And yeah, you're going to be the first one to hear it from here, but I'm going to trademark Brooks Stadium as the Baja Blast of college football stadiums. You're welcome. Now back to our regular scheduled programming. Coastal, since 2003 up to like 2015, they've been using real grass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, students have mixed opinions on it.
People sitting behind us seemed like pretty loyal, or the one seemed like a pretty loyal Coastal fan. I don't know if it was just sentimental, but they seem to really like that old just grass. And I'm telling you, it's just it smells different in the air.
Yeah.
I don't know, just hits different.
You can't really paint real grass and maintain it like that. Like, we get it.
We made it well known, our thoughts and stance on turf, but there's any turf that we can get behind. Say it's probably this one and Boise State's.
Yeah. I feel privileged. I think we both feel privileged that we get to visit one of the very few colored stadiums in college football.
Yeah.
And we were pleasantly surprised by that.
Some drawbacks to it. Another missed opportunity here. Like, I don't know what goes into the decision making of field goals, but it just seemed like white would have looked so much better than the traditional yellow here, because like you got bronze in the end zone, which just kind of clashes with the yellow, like two similar colors. But then white would have looked nice because it's one of their secondary colors.
Yeah, kind of would have just blended right in. Another con of the stadium was everything about the field was nicely laid out except for the conference logo. You could obviously tell it was just a random patch of turf that was laid on there. Like, it wasn't like painted on or anything. They just kind of slapped it on there.
Didn't put a lot of effort into it there. So yeah, other than those two drawbacks, say the surf turf definitely delivered.
Oh, absolutely.
So it actually got the highest field design grades of any school that we've given right now. I gave it an 89, which is a B+.
I know we talk about a lot of drawbacks from stadiums, saying that if it's not real grass, then it's definitely going to bring the grade down. But in this case, this wasn't really the main factor in why I graded it this way. But literally the two main drawbacks were just that yellow field goal post and then that conference logo, just random turf slap right there. You should also be proud of me because this is the first A on Road Team Reviews.
Yep.
Overall, if it weren't for those two things, it would be much higher. But because of that, my overall grade's going to be a 90.
Congrats to Brooks Stadium for getting the first A in any category. So our final grades for each of us were almost identical. After adding everything up, mine ended up being a 76.6, which barely rounds up to a C+.
And my final grade was almost identical, and it rounded up to be a 76.5.
Got two C+ from us. Averaging those together, we got a 76.55. We just went ahead and bumped to 76.6. And now, I don't even know if we should call this a bonus beer point anymore. I feel like we should just call it a beer point now, maybe, but...
Listen, you never know what stadium we're going to go to where they don't have it.
Yeah, so with that being said, it gets the +1. And the final score for Brooks Stadium, Conway, South Carolina, Coastal Carolina, 77.6, which is a very solid C+.
You know, guys, we had a really good time at this stadium. This was probably one of the most fun games we've been to in a while, just from talking to everyone at the game.
Yeah, like this is the first time we actually interacted with multiple fans, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how you could go to this game unless they're losing and like have a bad time.
Yeah.
It's definitely my favorite game of the year that we've been to so far. So definitely go back, but only to a night game. Those small stadiums don't give off much shade, so.
I think our grades were fair because if you take the field design and if you take this teal turf away and you really just focus on everything about this stadium and what it's about, at the end of the day, it's really just, it's an aluminum horseshoe on the side of a highway / interstate with really nothing to look around and only holds 21,000 people.
So you gotta be realistic.
Regardless of all of that, I mean, it was still a really good time. If you really want to check this field out, I would definitely recommend it. I'd say go out there and experience the surf turf.
Yeah, if you're in the Carolinas, for sure, you're a Sun Belt fan, you know, if you pull for a team in that conference, or, you know, if you're just planning a trip to Myrtle Beach in the fall, late summer, you know, stop by, check a game out, because definitely one of the most unique venues in college football, I'd say, for sure.
Absolutely. Their field is one of a kind, so definitely check it out.
That does it for this review. We got a bye week next week, unfortunately, but coming up, we got a stadium that we are very excited to go to. It's one we've been talking about for a long time, and one that gets a lot of attention, a big entrance, and we'll just leave it at that for now.
Stay tuned.
In the meantime, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, hit the post notifications. Tell us what you thought of the surf turf. Do you think it is just absolutely horrendous? Do you think it is a thing of beauty and should be praised across all of college football?
Yeah.
Let us know in there, because
this field is like, you either love it or you hate it. But
yeah,
you gotta at least experience it to judge it.
Anything else?
That's it, man. Go Chance.
Yeah. As always, we will see you next week on game day and on the road.
This is Road Team Reviews, and we're out, baby.
Bye.